Hi everybody, welcome to Arabella's Reading Corner. I'm Arabella and today we will be reading The Story of the Leprechaun. A little man, about 2 feet tall, lived under a large tree by a stream. You could easily find him by listening for the tap-tap-tap of his hammer. That must be a leprechaun. The little man was a shoemaker. He spent his days making shoes that were green, gold, and lavender, some with pointy toes and some with high heels, for the people who lived nearby and for the fairies who lived in the woods. That's the leprechaun making shoes. And then those are the fairies with their shoes. The people knew he was a leprechaun, for there were many fairies like him who lived outside villages. The people paid the leprechaun with pieces of gold for the shoes that he cobbled. The fairies' shoes were made of satin, and they were tiny. The fairies brought their gold to the leprechaun too. And then that's the townsfolk giving gold to the leprechaun. The leprechaun needed a place to keep his gold. He was a bit of a misser, so he didn't like to spend his money. An old metal pot became the perfect place for all of his wealth. His shoes were so prized that soon his pot of gold was overflowing. And that's the leprechaun's pot of gold. Wow, it's a large pot of gold. One day, a man named Tim came to the leprechaun's shop by the tree. He wanted a pair of shoes that would be violet blue with thick heels. As he was describing the shoes to the leprechaun, Tim spied the pot of gold. Tim knew that if he could capture the leprechaun, he would be granted 3 wishes because the leprechauns are magic. "I'll come back in a few days to collect my shoes," said Tim. The leprechaun was no fool. He knew what the man was really after. He buried his pot of gold in a field filled with blueberry bushes. And I forgot to show you this page. That's the man named Tim looking at the leprechaun's pot of gold. And that's the leprechaun digging a hole to bury his pot of gold. A few days later, Tim came back and the leprechaun gave him the violet blue shoes. But when the leprechaun turned to hide his payment, he was snatched from behind. The leprechaun could not escape. Now Tim could get what he wanted. "For my first wish, I want you to show me where the pot of gold is hidden. For my second wish, I want 100 pairs of shoes. And for my third wish, I want 3 more wishes." The leprechaun said, "I can grant you the first 2 wishes, but the third wish is a greedy trick and cannot be granted." And then that's Tim grabbing the leprechaun where he could hide his payment. And then that's the leprechaun talking to Tim. The leprechaun brought Tim to the field and pointed to the spot where the gold was buried. Tim had no shovel to dig with, so he marked the spot with a stick and a shoe. he would come back later. When Tim returned, he could not believe his eyes. There were 200 sticks with over 200 shoes all over the field. It was leprechaun magic. That's Tim marking the spot where the gold was buried with a stick and a shoe. And then that's a whole bunch of sticks and shoes. Tim dug many holes in the field, but he couldn't find the spot where the pot of gold was buried. After a few hours, Tim gave up. When he tried to collect the shoes, each one disappeared. The leprechaun had tricked him. Oh my goodness. So many holes in the field. The leprechaun needed to find a better place to hide his gold. He knew that rainbows were magic. You can never tell where one ended. And if he buried his gold at the end of one, only he would know how to find it again. Ooh, smart leprechaun. I've never found the end of a rainbow. Have you? So that is what he did. People still try to find his gold, but they never will. Listen for the sound of the leprechaun. Tap, 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 as he cobbles his shoes. Perhaps if you find him, and if you were very nice to him, he will grant you a wish. And that's the girl finding the leprechaun. And that's people searching for the leprechaun's pot of gold. I hope you enjoyed this leprechaun-y book.